stuff. So for Indian guys especially, right, how to kill bad breath. Now, you must be questioning me like, why is this only for Indian guys? Why can't it be for, people, outside India? So it can, right? This can work for everyone, but certain solutions I've given in this will especially apply to Indian guys because there's certain things that we experience that people outside don't. I mean, this could be for like Desi guys as like a whole too. Is like Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Are Sri Lankans Desi? Yeah, Sri Lankans are Desi. Bhutanese, uh, Nepalese. It can apply for the general brown. The brown people. So the first step is very simple. Is to brush twice a day. I never miss brushing twice a day. This is the most important step. Like there's so many guys I know who are like, yeah, I brush once a day. Like, bro, just brush twice a day. It isn't that hard. And another add-on to that is to brush the back of your tongue, right? Like legit, brush your tongue. The back is the most important. So most people think that the bad breath comes from the teeth, right? But this is actually not true. I mean, bad breath, like some of it does come from the teeth, but it is not that bad that it'll come out of your mouth so that people can actually notice it. The main reason bad breath comes is because your tongue is unclean, is because your tongue is unhealthy. This can also be related to your gut microbiome. So if your breath is like very bad, like how bad breath usually smells, it's like kind of musty. And when it's like bad breath and when it's like really bad breath. So if it's really bad, like it's so bad that people are having to tell you that it stinks, it's disgusting, you need to check upon your diet, because bad breath can also be correlated to your stomach, like what you eat and stuff, because it's connected to your gut microbiome. So if you're eating a lot of junk food, if you're eating a lot of fast food, if you're eating a lot of oily stuff, especially for Indians, you eat a lot of oily stuff, like right, like especially Gujaratis, Rajasthanis, North Indians. South Indians, like, of course I'm not trying to be biased or anything because I am South Indian, but I have noticed that South Indians don't have as much bad breath as North Indians. Like, I'm not saying that, of course, all South Indians don't have, like, my parents, like my dad, he has bad breath, like, and his bad breath is something you don't always have. So he doesn't always have bad breath, but when he has certain foods, that's when he has bad breath. I'm going to cover up on that very soon. So first thing is brush the back of your tongue. And brush it religiously. Brush twice a day. Brush thrice a day if you need to, right? I sometimes, just brush in the middle of the day if I feel like, my mouth is musty, if I feel like groggy and stuff. Brush at least twice a day before you eat, before you sleep and after you wake up. Brush the back of your tongue so much that you gag. I know it sounds like hell, but you need to, bro. You need to. Because that's where the bad breath originates from. Brush the back of your tongue hard, at least for like 30 seconds to 1 minute. That's all you'll need. So basically, you brush. After that, put a little bit of toothpaste on. Brush the back of your tongue. I look kind of saucy. Brush the back of your tongue up till you gag. You need to gag, bro. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but if you don't have a gag reflex, of course you won't know. But brush the back of your tongue till you gag for at least 30 seconds, right? And the second thing is that it's not exactly a solution, but if you have colds, if you're prone to colds, like I am prone to colds, right? I've always been prone to colds. It's kind of genetic because my mother was always prone to colds when she was, young. So if you're prone to colds, the thing is that it blocks your nasal cavity, right? And you're more prone to breathing from your mouth. And mouth breathing also makes your breath stink. That's also something that you need to be careful of. And the phlegm isn't what makes your breath stink, mind that. The phlegm won't make your breath stink. However, breathing from your mouth will definitely do that. So most people who are on self-improvement, who've been on self-improvement for long enough, they, nose breathe, right? Up till they're awake. As long as they're awake, they nose breathe. But as soon as you go to sleep, you start mouth breathing, you start drooling. For that, something called zygotaping. Mouth taping is bad. Don't mouth tape, right? There's like, it does more bad than good. I've realized something called zygo taping. I'll be covering that in another video. You can just Google. There's this guy called Oscar Patel. Just Google his guide to zygo taping. Oscar Patel, he's called. So do that. What that does, it activates your zygomatic muscles so that you automatically close your mouth while sleeping. Sleep on your back, right? So if you have cold, try to avoid getting a cold because you're more prone to mouth breathing and stuff. And now going actually to the second step is your diet. I could go into eating good food, protecting your gut microbiome and how that messes up your mouth. But onions and garlic, please. This is why I said that North Indians have a bigger problem when it comes to bad breath, is because your food, like not your food, like our food, like I'm Indian, right? No north south banter. North Indian food tends to have more onions and more garlic as compared to South Indian food. We use different spices, right? So if you eat a lot of onions and garlic, you need to either stop eating that much, which of course I don't want you to, or what you can do is, what was it, bro? Is of course eat less of it. And yeah, what I've noticed is that when onions are garnished over your food, right? That gives you more bad breath as compared to if the onions are already in the food. This is what I wanted to say. So, हम लोग पाव भाजी खाते, we eat पाव भाजी, right? And we grate onions over it, or they give onions separately and we put onions over the pav bhaji. That is more likely to give you onion breath than just having onions inside the food. And it sounds lame as hell having to do this, but if you're not putting like an insane amount of onions, like the whole thing is covered with onions, it still shouldn't give you onion breath. This is just for guys who are having problems, and this will take time. Like if onions are like a big part of your food, it's gonna take time for you to not get onion breath. And another thing is coffee. This applies for mainly South Indian guys, because filter coffee, bro. The thing is, once you have bad breath, right, mixing it with anything will just amplify that shit. So my dad, he has bad breath. And I know I should be getting him on to like self-improvement, but he just doesn't listen to me, so nothing I can do about that. But yeah, bad breath, if you mix it with food, so as soon as he wakes up, in the morning is when you have the worst breath before you brush. That's why you should brush the back of your tongue. It'll disappear like this, right? It'll take a few days, but eventually, once you wake up with it, it will like go out really easily. So my dad wakes up and then he has coffee on that, like filter coffee, and it just smells so bad, bro. So yeah, stay happy, stay smiling, and this is how you kill your bad breath as an Indian brownie, right?